Silas versus Dahlia. Everyone appears on witch rankings. Ketsia does, Hope does, and Nadu, Bonnie, Esther, Blase, Skippy. Everyone does except for Silas, which I always found to be weird. They never include Silas, which is the craziest thing in the world. So what we're going to do is, we're going to talk about Silas versus Dahlia today. Silas, Psychic Silas, can compel vampires, witches, and werewolves. Dahlia can possess dead witches, possess living werewolves, and is very clever when it comes to magic. Let's talk about if Psychic Silas were to go against Dahlia. It will be the easiest thing in the world. Compulsion. Compulsion cooks her every time. And that's just one of the abilities, right? That's one of the abilities. When we're talking about her weapons to die, right? What the weapons that's needed for her to die. Witch Silas versus Witch Dahlia. Silas at 17 was on top of the witch world and was literally one of the strongest witches in the world, in the largest coven in the world. Dahlia is just Dahlia. She has phony immortality thanks to someone else, thanks to Freya. I will say this about Dahlia, she's clever. You feel me? If we're talking about the most clever witches in TBDU, I would have to go Silas, and then I would have to go Ketsia, and then I would have to go Dahlia, Freya, Bonnie. Because immediately once Freya, this is why I said Freya over Bonnie, because immediately once Freya figures out someone's immortal, right? She'd be like, okay, cool, I would just reverse engineer it. You know what I mean? I would just reverse engineer it. And of course it nearly kills her every time, but it's fine. Nearly kills her every time. But it's fine. It's fine. And it's difficult to reverse engineer it. It's not like some random stuff. Now, they're not on the same magnitude. Well, I mean, low-key they are, I'm not gonna lie. But Silas reverse engineers the craziest spells ever. He has reverse engineered the craziest spells ever. I'll give you an example, right? When Kessia does her revenge plan, right? She makes Bonnie the anchor. When Bonnie, at the end of season 5, towards the end of season 5, I think in the episode Home, she's hitting up with Enzo, and they say, oh my gosh, who can help me with this spell? Well, Enzo's like, I have somebody that can help me with this spell. None of the travelers, all the travelers are pretty much back, but none of the travelers come through, right? It's literally Silas. He, while on the other side, while dead, has reverse engineered the way the anchor functions. So instead of basically you being a supernatural, you pass through, go onto this side, he reverse engineered the spell, you feel me, and thereby reverse engineering the anchor and her function, right, or their function. But then again, all the anchors are women, but yeah, her function in order to make the person, once you touch them, come onto the mortal plane instead. That's insane level of power. That's actually insane level of power. And so that's why I said it kind of quantifies, because you feel me, Freya reverse engineered to make Lucian, to unmake Lucian, okay? And then when it comes to, even when it comes to Marcel, you feel me, to find the weapon that can kill Marcel, the ashes of Lucian and the ashes of this and the original spell and she be cooking. And I feel like it's on the same magnitude, because that is a world event right there. Like, the anchor has an insane purpose, right? You're crossing over to another dimension. He reverse engineered it. That's real life altering stuff. You feel me? You touch the anchor, you're a supernatural. You're back onto the mortal plane like this, no matter what. You know what I mean? That's insane. That's life and death right there, where it comes to Freya's immortality. But getting back to Silas, that's why Silas is such a go. He's such a go. You feel me? We're talking about cleverness. Goes to Silas. If we're talking about now, let's talk about Dahlia. She's quick. She's a quick thinker. She's clever as well. She's perfect. She's perfect. She's really good. She is really good. She has some tricks up her sleeve. For real. She's so good. When she melted the steak, the white oak steak, so they can inhale, and then blew it up so they can inhale it. What? No one has, what? Really think about that though. The white oak steak was this huge thing, right? She said, I'm going to melt it down, explode it, and then you're going to inhale the fine particles. And you're going to just die from inhaling the fine particles. And it actually was working. And she made them inhale the fine particles. And so, without Esther stepping in to really do what she had to do, you would think, right? Oh my gosh. It was actually killing them in a way. It was like burnt. It was like their veins were becoming red. It was actually, they was getting destroyed from the inside out. Without Esther there, they could have possibly died, or we won't know, to be honest. But they did inhale the white oak steak fine particles, you know? So that was very smart on her part. Very smart. And she cooked. She cooked. She cooked. And it came off so easily, you know? Which Silas versus which Dahlia? I'm taking Silas every time. Why? Because of when he became because of at what age he was the most powerful witch. You feel me? Because at what age Silas and Ketsia were the most powerful witch. You feel me? But specifically Silas. He was the most powerful witch at 17 in the largest coven. Like everybody comes from this one coven. Before the witch community split like this, they were all one coven. You know what I mean? And that's why I wasn't going to say anything, but there's a lot of possession when it comes to the originals. And like outside of Dahlia, there's people that's like jumping bodies and stuff like that. All that stuff comes from that traveler gene. You feel me? And of course there's a spell, right? But genuinely, even the spell, to be honest, it's like, come on now. It's like, come on now. We know it's because of you can only do that because of the traveler gene. And come on now. Witches. I already know witches. I already know witches can do this. But anyways, whatever. Yeah, so when it comes to Silas and Dahlia, mind you, Dahlia has incredible feats, right? Silas has incredible feats. You feel me? Incredible feats. He said, I think I'm liquefying your organs, your internal organs. I think I am. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. And he's chilling. He's like this. Mind you, he's like that. He doesn't have a care in the world. He's like this. No straining, no nothing. He's vibing while literally liquefying internal organs. But I want to I already said this like twice now, but I want it to be very distinctive, right? Dahlia, clever. Dahlia, adaptive. Dahlia, very quick. Very, very quick on her feet. Very, very, very quick on her feet. Silas, the reason he gets the edge over Dahlia is because psychic Silas can compel witches, vampires, and werewolves. The reason witch Silas also get the edge over Dahlia is because at what age? It's like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right? How do I say this? Who was like the youngest? I think it's Annie. Annie, right? I think Annie was like the youngest kid nominated to get like an Oscar or something. You feel me? The youngest kid or whatever the heck. She was like 9 years old. That's like saying that Annie isn't over the other actors. But mind you, let's say Annie actually got nominated and was the one who actually got an Oscar. You feel me? That's like saying Annie, you feel me? Let's put Silas in this position. That's like saying Annie, you feel me? Or yeah, her wasn't the one who just got nominated and got the Oscar, right? Boom, boom. That's like saying she is not over a 25-year-old, right? You feel me? She did it at 9, and we have someone here at 25, you feel me, who's like very smart, very adaptive, very clever. But you wasn't Annie. You wasn't doing what Annie was doing at her age. You feel me? You did it at like 25, you know? You did it at 25. And like, in theory, you're not the strongest. Which, in theory. I'm just saying in theory. But you are clever, but you are smart. No one can take that away from you. Simple as that. You are adaptive. You are quick on your feet. You are, bow, hello. So, you still up there. But the age difference here is what sets you apart. Now imagine Annie, right, is the lead. She's not the leader. Imagine Annie's not the leader, but she is still like the face almost. She's like the most talented actor, you feel me? Out of like, I don't know how many travelers there were, but out of all these grown-ups, out of all these youngsters her age, after all these you feel me? Now, mind you, of course, she's sharing this smartness and intelligence level with someone else too, like in the same power scaling and everything. You feel me? But whatever, with someone else. But she still did this at 9 years old. Do you feel me? Like her and someone else is the face of this huge coven, the hugest coven in the world at the time. You know what I mean? And she's doing it at like 9 years old. So now switch her out for Silas. You feel me? And that's how it was. You feel me? The age difference, the mastery. You feel me? The display of cleverness and this and that at a very young age. You feel me? No one, and I feel like people look that over, right? Look over that. I'm about to say this and I'm about to get out of here, but when people mention Ketsia, right? They say, "Oh my gosh, she's just the most powerful witch of all time. She is just, she's so great and she's just so smart. And we been knew that she was just the greatest." But then we have this situation where Silas, he was right there with Ketsia. Ketsia out her mouth, and I've said this 1,000 times on my TikTok, Demetrius Diaries with 2 S's at the end, by the way. But anyways, I said this 1,000 times on my TikTok, but Silas was right there with her. She says it out her mouth. Silas and I, not just me, I'm the most powerful witch ever. Silas doesn't even say she's the most powerful witch ever. He says she is one of the most powerful. He even glazes her, right? He glazes her, she glazes him. You know what I mean? Genuinely, mind you, when they're each other's ops at this point, and they're both glazing each other, and so they're not in each other's presence or anything, right? And they're glazing each other, and so she says, "We were the two most powerful members of a gifted people called travelers." And yet people only mention Ketsia in the witch rankings and this and that. I mean, they try to, like, they do this whole thing of like accomplishments and achievements and da da da. Silas was 17 right there, rocking and rolling White Ritter. You feel me? And the whole thing of like this huge coven, the Sinclairs come from this coven. The Bennetts, we got Ketsia, love you to death, equal, hello, you feel me? My dog, you feel me? Silas and his family, right? What's it called? And Nadu and her people, you feel me? Dahlia and her people. Who else? Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say Esther because Esther and Dahlia are literally, they come from the same probably parents, so well, probably for sure. But anyways, like so many witches, the Treme, you know what I mean? that's crazy, right? But yeah, even like there was this huge coven, you feel me? And then after this whole Silas, Ketsia, Mara situation, they deviate and they go their separate ways, and maybe people stay in the East, you feel me? And people go across to America, and they go to New Orleans and they start like having these different names, you feel me? And stuff like that. So we get like the Treme witches, the Sinclair witches, the this, the that, the da 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 da. But back then, the oldest of the oldest, you feel me? The most potent magic being displayed in the world at the time, to be honest. Not even at the time, but I feel like just in general, to be honest, this is just me, but I feel like the magic back then was so much more potent, genuinely. And I feel like, to be honest, I feel like it only like occurs stronger now, every now and then. You maybe get a Bonnie, you know what I mean? You maybe get a Hope, you feel me? It's very sporadic. But back then, everybody was shooting on all cylinders. What do you mean you got two of the most powerful members in an already gifted people? You feel me? Like at the same time, at the exact same moment in time, both of them, both the witches. That's crazy. I love that little hint at like a duo, you know? I love that little hint, that little nod at like a duo, you know? I love it so much. That's why Silas beats Dahlia. That's basically all I have to say. What are you guys' thoughts on this, though? What are you guys' thoughts on the whole Silas versus Dahlia of it all? And what other debate should I bring up about TBD, involving TBD, you? And with that, I'll see you guys. Peace out.